Alright, I hope you guys can hear me okay over the unit heater out here. So, I'm going to try this real quick without the light, see if it's any... Oh no, that is definitely not good. Anyways, after making a pair of these guys last night and finding out how heavy they were going to be, I came up with an idea yet this morning for an updated, much lighter version of it. So right now you're looking down the inside of the hood of the 210, and this is the new version of it. So if this will focus halfway decent, you can see there's supposed to be a pair of 1/4-20 nuts. This is the upper or the rearward part of the hinge that you're looking at, and that is the forward part of the hinge. So the forward part of the hinge is going to stay permanently attached. It's the rearward part of the hinge that's going to get temporarily removed when I go to do any kind of major or more serious service on this thing. I'll get this thing off here real quick so you guys can see the new and improved version. Looks like it's chewed up the threads on that stud a little bit. I'm gonna have to chase this thing, I think. Oh well, at any rate, I'll show you this real quick, and then I'll move on to the fun project for the night. So basically this is a section of steel fuel line, a 1/4-20 nut, and a piece of 1/8 inch steel. That's all it is. So it's much lighter weight, but still plenty strong for its purpose. So hopefully that will help out tremendously. So anyways, on to something more interesting. So I'm finally starting to get set up on this hand wheel, but I wound up coming up with another little interesting trick that I'm going to show you guys real quick for a situation like mine, where you don't have to have extreme high precision. We came up with a fairly quick way of centering the piece, the workpiece. So I already had the table itself reasonably centered up. Now I'm going to show you what I came up with for this. So normally a person would take a dial indicator and sweep around this thing, but let's just bump this thing off center again. Hopefully it was noticeable on the camera. So anyways, what I wound up doing is taking my little arm that I had built for the dial indicator and just kind of gently nudging it closer to center. Then I would bring the arm in a little bit more, sweep around, nudge it closer to center again. I think it's pretty good like that. At any rate, it's kind of like the trick that people use on the lathe, where they bump something up against a piece of stock to get their piece of stock to slowly but surely spin concentrically instead of being out of round or wobbling around. So I think that is going to be close enough for me. I'm going to try and start snugging this up, hopefully without taking it out of whack. And then I'll sweep this thing around again to make sure that I haven't goofed it up too badly. So I did goof it up a little bit. now I'm just eyeballing for just a little bit of a gap. That should work. So I'll secure it down now. Once I figure out. Here I thought I had the wrench in my hands this whole time. Must be losing my mind, or what's left of it, I should say. So I don't want to get too carried away with these. I'm going to have to juggle them as I go through this. I think I'm going to try 24 spaces, 24 individual cuts on this. And I have to juggle the straps as I go around, as I progress around this thing. Get this indicator holder out of it. There's that. I haven't had much need to use this in a while, but every once in a great while. I built that a few months back now. Okay. So I've got a 3/8, or what I think is a 3/8 2-flute cutter here. I'm going to run it in just a little ways. Kind of going to be a trial and error sort of thing, because I don't know exactly how deep I want to go with this. I want to try and get my slots to be almost the same width as I want the lows to be almost the same width as the highs, so it might take a couple go-arounds to determine when I've got it just exactly the way I want it. So we shall see. I don't have a whole lot of memory left on the phone right now, so I won't bore you guys with it for too awful long. If I try to, the phone's just going to stop me. I've only got about 17 minutes, it says, available, and I'm almost halfway there. So, okay, run this back up. And got that on. And over. And up some more. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this down with the quill. I think it'll cut okay like that. So I'm going to set my depth stop. Guess you guys can't really see my depth stop, can you? Not that it matters. Anyways, get my depth stop set someplace where I like it. Kind of wears your thumb out after a while. Okay, I haven't checked my feeds and speeds yet, so I think I got this thing set for about 1,000 RPM. Hopefully that will be okay for this 2-flute 3/8 on aluminum. Alright. Get this thing touched off. Alright, so I'm pretty well touched off. Now, let's get a little more light. I'm going to 0 this dial here. It may not help me a whole heck of a lot keeping track of all this, but we shall see. Get me some, I don't have much transmission fluid. So at any rate, this will be good for hopefully a couple of them so that you guys can kind of see what I'm planning on doing here. And let's see what I want to dial in here. That's 100 thousandths. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start with 100 thou and see where it goes. I don't have much oil in it left either. Let's put a little oil in this machine real quick. Sorry, I am not very well prepared tonight. Wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to get out here with other things going on today, but luckily I got out here. Okay. Alright, here goes nothing. Okay, now we'll index it. That might work out pretty good. Might be a little bit closer on the space than what I want, but we'll see. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Backwards. I'm going to try and work this space here before I start moving clamps around. Nice thing about this particular rotary table, I don't think I have to worry nearly as much about backlash, so it kind of gives me a little bit of an advantage. Okay, let's bring you guys around so you can kind of see what I'm doing over here. I think it's going to turn out halfway decent. I was afraid it was going to be a little bit too deep, but I think it's going to be just fine and dandy. So before this thing runs out of memory, that's what I'm doing. It's a little bit dark. Hopefully it'll show up halfway decent. So anyways, I'm going to, actually, I'm not even going to move the clamps just yet. I'm going to come over here, do some on this side, then I'm going to come over here and do some on this side, then I'm going to start juggling my clamps and do the spaces that are missing. That's one of the things I didn't even recognize about this particular rotary table. Since I don't have to account for backlash, it kind of makes it a lot easier on something like this. So Anyways, I'll catch up with you guys later.